every Canadian election, I approach the different party leaders and see if they will do an interview/hip flip. Coming up, Annamie Paul. We did the interview here at the airport. By the way, I also approached Jagmeet Singh, and he did do an interview. But I'm still waiting to hear back if Erin O'Toole and Justin Trudeau will do an interview with me. I'll keep trying, though. I won't give up, because that's what I do.
Nardwuar. 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 Nardwuar.
Who are you?
I'm Annamie Paul.
Annamie Paul, welcome to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, the airport.
It's great to be here.
Outside at the airport, and right off the bat, I have a gift for you.
Oh, I love gifts.
It's in box number 1 to your left there, in box number 1, if you want to reach over and grab it right there. This is for Annamie Paul. And what do we have?
We have J.R.R. Tolkien reads and sings his Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers and Return of the King.
From 1975, that record is.
My goodness. Who told you that I can quote all of the dialogue from all of the Lord of the Rings? All of the dialogue. I actually, I spent the day before the day that I gave birth to my second son, watching every single of the films in the trilogy back to back to back in the theater. Director's cut, each one, and I was, over almost 10 months pregnant at the time. I didn't drink any water for the entire day, so I wouldn't have to get up and go to the bathroom. That's how deep it goes.
Well, that's a gift for you, Annamie.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Annamie, you're here in Vancouver.
Yes.
Harry Jerome.
That's right. Harry Jerome, one of the greatest sports people ever in Canadian history. A true groundbreaker, absolutely.
But 1993, your connection.
That's right. I won the Harry Jerome Award back in 1993. I believe I won it for, I think, outstanding academic scholarship. I was a student. I think I was a law student. I was very proud of that. That's right. My mom was thrilled. You know, it's one of the biggest awards in the Black community. We got to get dressed up, got our hair done, went to that. It was great.
And he lived in North Vancouver. Vancouver!
Vancouver connection again. And, you have that famous statue of him now, the Harry Jerome Award statue, where he's doing the pose, where he's, breaking through, I think, the tape. It's beautiful. That's right. That's fantastic.
Also from Vancouver, Rosemary Brown.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And I remember when she almost won, she came in a very close second to Ed Broadbent in the 1970-something, the leadership race that they had. And her slogan for her leadership campaign was "Brown is beautiful," which I just love. And she is definitely a big hero of mine.
Annamie Paul, your mom was born in Nevis?
That's right. She sure was.
And I have a gift for you, and it's in box number 2. This is Annamie Paul opening up.
This is Sammy Watts and High Voltage, Forward On. And we've got all of the Leeward Islands here. We've got St. Kitts and Nevis.
And who's from Nevis? Sammy Watts.
And my mom, most importantly. And Cicely Tyson. Okay? That is amazing. My mom is going to flip. Oh my goodness. Look at the afro. They don't make them like this anymore, Beautiful.
Now that's some Caribbean funk. Is your mom a good dancer? Is your mom a good dancer?
The best. And in fact, just because you asked, we're going to upload some clips of her dancing a couple of days ago, right there in the gay village in my riding. She was busting a move, believe me. Oh my goodness. We're going to put this on for her at my home. We still have a record player. This is going on. Oh my goodness. This is great. And in the Caribbean, we don't say forward on, we say forward on.
Anime, your grandmother, she was a midwife?
She was the midwife. She delivered so many babies in Nevis, the island of Nevis, where she was the head nurse, that people just refer to her as nurse or mother. And so there are generations of people born in Nevis where my grandma was the one who delivered them.
And she broke her back in a hospital?
Oh, she did. She did. When she came to Canada, she couldn't continue with her profession. She came in her 50s, and it was just, she would have had to start all over again. So she became a personal support worker. And yeah, it still is backbreaking work. And so she pulled her back, lifting a patient out of bed. And, she was in pain for many years because of that.
The March on Washington, your mom was there?
She wasn't there. She was in the United States during the march, and she was in visiting family. It was either in the Bronx or Brooklyn, because we had a lot of family down there, and they were going, and they asked my mom to go, and she was just terrified. She was just terrified. She'd come from this little island of 9,000 people, so they went, and she didn't. But of course, she was down in the States, and she watched it, and it was a big, big moment for her.
Well, since you missed it, and since your mom missed it,
Yeah.
I have a gift for you, and it's in box number 3. Okay. An original, if you turn it over, 1968, I Have a Dream Japanese issue.
Gosh. Okay, so let me give you some, there's some geography here. So my brother lived in Japan for almost 15 years. And his kids are Japanese, and so I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to understand all of this. And also my brother, because my mom didn't fulfill that, I guess, it wasn't so much a dream, but regret of hers to go to the March on Washington. He went down to the States for the Million Man March, if you remember that, back from I think it was the 2000s. So this is going to mean a lot. This is incredible. Oh, my goodness. Boy, you're making a lot of dreams come true yourself right now, Nardwuar.
And you are Anime?
Anime Paul.
Paul! And Anime, on your 13th birthday, you got your SIN card?
Oh, yes, I did. Listen, my mother's attitude is if it's legal to work, get to work. And so I think I got a birthday cake. I'm not entirely sure. But what I do know is that I got almost a March escort down to the job center to register for my social insurance number and instructions on how to find my first job. So yes, that's right. As soon as it was legal for me to get a job, I was out there on the job market.
Ngozi, the kink in my
hair. Yeah.
And I have a gift for Ngozi in box number 4 right there.
Okay.
What do we have here?
We have Mishi Me, Jamaican funk. I'm a Jamaican. I'm a Jamaican. Jamaican funk. I just listened to this the other day. Oh my goodness.
From 1990, and she was also in That Kink in My Hair.
She was, and she also just recently made a guest appearance on my sister's show on CBC Gem called Free Up, which is a celebration of Emancipation Day. And she was one of the featured artists right at the end of the show. She looked as good as ever. She sounded even better than when she dropped this gem. That is amazing.
What can you tell the people, Mishi Me, like Canadian hip-hop, female Canadian hip-hop?
Jamaican funk on top of everything else. She was a groundbreaker. She worked with some of the biggest artists back in the 90s. I mean, just dropping hit after hit. And no one could kick and fuse styles like Mishi Me. I mean, come on now. I mean, look at her. Come on.
Did you ever go to any gigs at that time?
No.
What's the young Anime like? Did you go to any gigs at all?
My mom would say that I was a bit dry nuts. That's a Caribbean expression. I think I was a very much kind of a head down kind of girl. But that being said, back in the 90s, I loved WOMAD. Do you remember WOMAD? And so I would finish whatever job I had in the summer and then head down to WOMAD and listen to world music all night long with my friends. That's how I spent, 16, 17, 18 years old. Yeah.
Anime, what would you recommend for shoes, and what are you wearing right now?
I'm wearing men's shoes. because it's time for women to be comfortable, even in politics. They're flat, they're functional, they're water resistant. I love them, and I'm wearing them into the ground. I actually rubbed some lotion in them today because I'd heard that if you don't have shoe polish, that hand lotion works just as well. It does not, but I tried. I'm wearing some big, flappy, also kind of man pants. It's time for women to be comfortable. You know, this is very mannish kind of coat too. I've been called sir a lot today. That's okay. Yeah.
What are some campaign tips for people that want to campaign? You were saying it's good to have a good pair of shoes,
Yeah.
but also to eat properly so you say the right thing.
Oh, yes, that's right. First of all, the shoes, absolutely, which is why I think that I broke the internet when I announced that I was not wearing any heels or any fancy shoes to the debates. I was wearing a pair of classic Stan Smiths reimagined in ocean plastic. So that's what I was wearing, and that's what I wear most days now. And then, yes, there was a day that I blame my family and my team. I hadn't eaten all day long, and I endorsed the Liberal platform on the climate. And I will never live that down. Never.
Annemie, here you are in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, but earlier you were in Victoria. Did you meet with Paul Manley at all?
We did indeed. We had a big rally. Paul Manley was there. Elizabeth May was there. We had 14 candidates in total from BC who were there for this big rally that we had. So there was a lot of green spirit.
Did you talk about Fairy Creek at all?
We did indeed. We had a lot of Fairy Creek defenders who came to our rally. They were actually heading out to Fairy Creek right after our rally. And yeah, we talked about the importance of protecting old growth, sending more greens to Ottawa to make that happen, but also what we could do on the ground here.
Now, speaking of Vancouver Island, up island is Nanaimo, and Willie Thrasher, an amazing musician, lives there. And I have a gift for you in box number 5.
Oh, 5 now.
Box number 5 for Annemie Paul. Right here, Willie Thrasher's 1981 record, Spirit Child. It's got some amazing songs. If you turn it over, you can see on the back listed. He is a residential school survivor, and the song titles are amazing. Like Beautiful, Wolves Don't Live By.
The Rules. I love that. The wolves don't live by the rules. Old Man Inuit, Shingle Point Whale Camp. And, we got to take you higher. I really like that. Oh, boy, I'm really looking forward to that.
So that's a gift for you.
Thank you very much. It's a gift for me and for my family. I know a lot of people that will love to hear this.
A lot of Willie Thrasher's songs are based on the land. Why isn't Canada a global leader in environmental change?
Why indeed? You know, I mean, it's a mystery. We have everything that it takes. Clearly, people care about it a lot. It's a head scratcher. It's a head scratcher. But, you know, I remain confident because we have to be confident and optimistic that we will become a global leader. People are counting on us. We need to do our fair share.
Now, winding up here, Annemie, we're here outside at the Vancouver airport. Who's on your team? Can you identify them, please?
Oh, can I? Can I? But, okay. So we have here Matt. Matt is, again, he's the magic. If I sound good, if I look good, it's thanks to Matt and his AV magic. We have Victoria, who is just everything. Everything, you know. She's my Wilson. We have Luke, who is a very talented videographer, who has been with us for, just forever. Even since the leadership race. And then we have my boo-boo here. We have my son, Malachi, who Nardwar is your biggest fan. Well, I think this whole trip was, in fact, designed so that I could meet with you.
Well, let's bring up Malachi.
Come on, Malachi. Come on down. This is your life.
What can you say, Malachi, about your mom, Annemie Paul?
That she is the most incredible person, most incredible. And I don't say that lightly because I've met a lot of people now. I've met like hundreds of people today already, but we just made the switch from mom to friend. So now I consider her my friend, very good friend. Although, you know, again, she's been just incredible. The whole country's getting to know her now. It's been fantastic. And yeah, nothing but good things.
And Annemie, what can you say about Malachi?
I'm trying to think of the most embarrassing thing that I could possibly say about about my son. You know what? There's a moment when your children go from being a burden, just a burden, to being a tremendous help, and he has made that transition. If you like anything that you see on my accounts, on social media and whatnot, you've got this guy to thank for it. And like I said, if you brought this together, this magical moment, it's really thanks to Malachi, and who was absolutely determined that I could not let the sun go down on this election without meeting with you.
Well, Malachi, I have a gift for you, and it's in box number 6. Could you describe what Malachi is doing right now, Anami?
Malachi is opening up a lovely vintage box, and I cannot wait to see what comes out of it.
There are 2 gifts in there. There are 2 gifts in there.
Happier than ever. This is Billie Eilish. And wow, this is
on vinyl.
On vinyl.
Her new release. That's for you.
Amazing.
And
I actually haven't listened to any of these songs yet because I've been just so caught up with everything going on with my mom over here. She takes up a lot of time, so I'm definitely going to listen to these. It's supposed to be really good.
I have never listened to any of her music, so that will be a first for me.
And underneath it is a Vancouver Whitecaps vintage 45. Because I know you love soccer, don't you?
I love soccer. I actually, I hate waking up in the morning, but I'll wake up at 7:30 in the morning just to watch soccer. I usually watch the Premier League, which is over in the UK. But I know about the Whitecaps.
Champions League.
And actually, one of my favorite teams is Bayern Munich. And one of the players from Bayern
Munich.
Davies, exactly. He came from the Whitecaps.
Fonzie.
Yeah. He's one of the only Canadians that made it out of Canada to play soccer in Europe. And I'm such a big fan of his. So maybe you'll see this. Fingers crossed.
Now,
I love it.
speaking of playing soccer in Europe, you and your dad, Mark, you exposed something?
Oh. Yes, we did indeed. This is actually a bit sad, but I think this was maybe coming on to my 10th year in soccer. There was a match that was fixed. And it was a really big game because it basically determined who was going to get promoted for the next season. And 2 teams that were ahead of us both needed to tie to go ahead. And if one of them won, then we would have been the one to go ahead, and one of them would have stayed down. And so what ended up happening is they essentially fixed the game, tied the game 0-0, and we stayed in our division, didn't get promoted, and both of those teams did. And nobody was doing anything about it. So me and my dad said, we got to do something, and we did something. We went to this incredible journalist that was writing for El País, which is a Spanish newspaper. And he broke the story, and it made the front pages. All my friends knew about it, and hopefully led to some real change.
Yeah, the
hopefully
author
it did.
of Invictus, actually.
The author,
it was the author of Invictus that broke the story. And Malachi and my husband Mark were anti-corruption warriors, and they changed the rules in football, in youth football in Spain, which is no small feat at all. At all.
But you, Malachi, got an early start. You were held by Bill Clinton?
I actually don't know how you know this. I have no idea how you know this.
I know.
That is really weird. Yes, I don't actually remember this moment, but there's pictures. She does.
I'll tell that
Yeah,
story.
could you explain?
No, I'm going to tell that story.
All right.
So picture this. You hear that Bill Clinton is coming to your campus. I was studying down at in the States at Princeton. He was coming in for a quick visit. And I said, I don't care what they say. I'm bringing my kid in. I'm not even asking permission. So I took my kid. He was maybe 3 or 4 months old. I stuck 2 diapers down the back of my pants because we weren't allowed to leave for hours. And I took him in there, and he was a baby. And so I shoved him right to the front. Of course, a president cannot resist a baby. Took my son, lifted him over the head. Malachi looked at him like this, and the picture made papers all over the place. The front of the Princeton paper, other papers. We still have that photo.
Yeah, I don't know how you know that though. Like no one knows about that. That's not
voodoo.
even.
That's voodoo.
Well, you are the Paul family. We have to know.
I guess you do.
Lastly, I was curious, how hard was it to get Anami verified? How hard was it?
Ooh. How do you know about this? That is actually crazy.
You tell this story.
Okay, so my mom, Anami Paul, got verified on Twitter instantly after she won the leadership race. And she also got verified on Facebook instantly. But Instagram, I don't know what was going on. After a few months, we kept trying to get verified. My brother kept filling out forms, and nothing would happen. And then she actually had a great idea, which was to tell us to get in touch with the people who handled exactly, to write them directly and write their people who handle government relations, which is what we did. And a few days later, boom, like magic, we were verified. But it was a struggle. I think it took like 5 or 6 months. So I just don't know how you know about that because, again, that was like only me and
Check
her
yourself for
and-
wires. Let's pat ourselves down for vices.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yes, she's verified now, though. She is.
Well,
Be
thank you very much,
verified.
Malachi, and
Thank you.
do.
Doot doot.
Winding up here, Enemy Paul. Only 8 years? 8 years is a magic number, like Obama?
Oh boy, I mean, if I can even hang in that long, you know, politics has become okay. If politics was this fun every day, I would stay in forever. I would add a 0 to the end of that 8 and make it 80 years. But man, it is just a death match. It's a slog. It's the gladiator pit, you know. It is some knockdown, beat down work, and yep, it's a time limited thing. I also think that it's important to make space for others, you know. You see all these youngins, they got to come up, they got to have some space to do their thing. So I think you do it for a good time, but not a long time.
Enemy Paul, could you open box number 8? What do you see in box number 8? What do we see right there?
Parker Brothers swinging game for swinging people. Hip flip.
Called the hip flip.
The hip flip.
Hip flip
The
game.
hip flip. The hip flip.
Now, what's interesting about the hip flip game is
Yeah.
Paul Martin did the hip flip game with me.
Did he?
He did indeed. Jack Layton did the hip flip game with me.
Did he?
He did indeed. Whoa! Oh my God! John Kretchen did the hip flip game with me.
Did he?
Justin Trudeau did the hip flip in 2015. But never got back to me in 2019, and I still have not heard from him in 2021.
Yeah, it's the gravitas thing now, you know, you can't, right? The gravitas. That's impressive.
Jagmeet Singh did the hip flip with me in 2019 and 2021.
I see where this is going.
Stephen Harper did not do the hip flip with me. His
I see,
security team carried me away. This is kind of fun. This is, whoa! Stephen Harper, please, will you do the hip flip? You guys don't have to carry me.
Here, I see the peer pressure mounting now. I see where this is headed. Nardwar, are you looking to do the hip flip with me?
Well, I was wondering, Enemy Paul, would you, in 2021, do the hip flip with me?
Malachi, what do you say? As 2 thumbs up? Do it. What am I getting myself into here?